This is Jason with Chicago News, and this week we've got one of our favorite cars from last year, the Kia Niro Hybrid, but this time it's got a plug in the side of it. This is the 2018 Kia Niro plug-in hybrid. One little issue we've noticed with this Kia is this liftgate doesn't always close all the way. We've got a manual lift here, no power lift, and when you do this, sometimes it doesn't go all the way down, and even when it does, it doesn't fully latch. You really have to get this thing slammed. A little bit of a small annoyance when given all the other features we have here. This Kia strikes a really interesting balance between an interesting looking design without looking weird. A lot of the hybrid vehicles that you drive just look odd for no particular reason. This has a pretty handsome overall look. But a lot of the things to like about this Kia are on the inside. There's a ton of content in there, so let's hop in and start to take a look at it. One of the first things we're noticing behind the wheel of this Kia Niro plug-in hybrid is the road noise and the engine noise. You know, we picked this as our family vehicle of the year last year, and we love this Niro, but I don't think we remember quite so much noise here, so I wonder if this is new or we're just not remembering it right. But there's certainly a buzziness to this engine, especially when it kicks on, and it may be the contrast between the EV mode and the gasoline mode. This thing is quiet and smooth in EV only, but then as soon as the engine kicks on, you can hear that boomy buzz as it accelerates. Another thing that the EV mode probably highlights with respect to the sound is when you're running in that mode, you're only hearing the road noise. There's really no engine noise, so it's kind of a double whammy. You get the quietness and the smoothness of the electric motor, but you hear all that extra road noise coming through the tires. Overall, though, these are trade-offs that really return incredible mileage. This thing will average over 40 miles per gallon in mixed driving, which is really impressive in a crossover category. I know numbers can be boring, but let's get some numbers out of the way with this thing. It's got an 8.9 kilowatt battery, a 60 horsepower electric motor. That means you've got 26 miles claimed electric only range. So if you charge this thing overnight, every night, you really almost never have to put gas in it. You can do all your daily errands if you drive less than 26 miles. What we found too is pretty impressive is if you put this in sport mode, which actually took a little while to figure out, you actually click the shifter over towards you into another gate and it puts it into sport mode. This thing will pick up mileage. As I'm driving right now at 30 miles an hour, it's running at a lower gear and it's charging the battery all the time. Of course, you lose gasoline range, but we're picking up electric range. We picked up 9 miles already this morning just driving around in the sport mode. I don't think it's the most efficient way to charge the battery, but it's pretty impressive that it can pick up that much just driving around. The main power plant is a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder running through a 6-speed dual clutch transmission, which is a little bit different than most hybrids. Most hybrids will have a planetary style transmission, so it gives a little bit more interesting driving feel than your typical hybrid because you've actually got 6 different gears to work with. The gasoline engine here is a 1.6 liter non-turbo 4-cylinder. Combined with that 60 horsepower electric motor gives a total of 139 horsepower. And this thing is pretty quick, especially around town, stoplight to stoplight. We did find sometimes when it's between the EV and the gas mode and you dip into the gas between stop signs or that sort of thing, it takes a second to lag before it really gets going. It's really the only problem we notice with this drivetrain, but ultimately a dual clutch gives this thing a little bit more of a performance feel when you want it. One thing we definitely wish was improved here were some of the interior finishes. This gray color doesn't do it any favors either. There is a soft touch material to some of this, but it actually looks like cheap plastic. You know, it's not until you touch it that you find that it may be a little bit better material, so ultimately it could just be this gray color doesn't do this interior any favors. But overall, when you combine that road noise with some of the look and feel of these interior finishes, it just kind of has a little bit of a cheaper feel. You do get an excellent infotainment system though. There's great cell phone connectivity. You get screen mirroring along with Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and just really easy to use menus. You know, Kia really has it down as far as their infotainment system goes. The steering wheel, however, is really nice. You've got leather finishing and you've got some nice contrasting stitching. know, there's some nice touches throughout here, so it definitely isn't all dreary throughout the entire interior. One thing though that Kia pretty much is killing everyone on is warranty. This has got 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, but also a 10-year, 100,000-mile battery warranty, which is pretty incredible. And also has a 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper, 5-year, 60,000-mile roadside assistance. So as far as coverage goes, it doesn't get much better. As we talked about before last year with this Kia, there's tons of tech in here. You've got every safety feature you could imagine. There's lane keeping assist, forward collision alert, and automatic braking. You've got radar cruise control, blind spot monitors. It all works really well too, and there's some great menu features where you can fine-tune the sensitivity of different things. You can turn the lane keeping on from passive to active. You can change all of the finer settings of these safety features, and ultimately it really is helpful to have these features. A lot of the cars, they're kind of intrusive. In here, it's all calibrated really well. It's a good system, which is actually a new LCD that takes up the entire space between the two gauges. Now, I wish that the charging and eco gauge wasn't quite so large. It would be nicer if that was a tachometer and you could have the eco mode in the center, but there's really a ton of different display options you can have through here. Driving style, there's, you know, all sorts of car information you can put up, and then menu settings. A ton of usable features right here through the center display. Speaking of price point, this plug-in hybrid version sticker for our test vehicle is $35,000, which you are eligible due to the EV range for a tax credit. So really, this is kind of a bargain buy, and you're getting so much for your money. As far as charging your device, you've got tons of options here. There's two 12-volt ports, a USB here to connect your phone to the system, but there's also a USB in the center that's for charge only, so it's a fast charger for your phone. But you also have a 110-volt outlet in the back here and a wireless charge port in the center here, which actually works really well through a case even that we have on our phone, which a lot of the wireless chargers we use have been really fiddly. You got to mess with your phone. This one, threw it on there, started charging. So as far as getting your device powered up, this has a ton of options. For a car that essentially we've figured out is a bargain, there's a ton of really incredible luxury features here. You've got heated and cooled seats. There's lots of little things like the memory seats here. You've got 2 different driver settings that you can save. You know, there's features that you wouldn't expect in a car of this price point, which we really appreciate. Another one of the little touches is that you've got both mirrors folding down when you get into reverse. You've got the backup camera that gives you a view of everything, but it's nice to have both mirrors fold down so you can see the curbs when you're parallel parking. You can go in the menus and change all of that, but it's a really nice feature. All right, I call out Priuses enough that I think we're gonna start tracking when I've yelled at a Prius, so we're gonna get the map out and start to lay out every time I do it. So overall, this plug-in version of the Kia Niro Hybrid is even better. You've got 26 miles of EV-only range. Essentially, especially once you are able to take the tax credit with this, you've got an incredible bargain as well. You look at some of the other hybrids that are available now that aren't plug-ins, look at some of the features that you can get with this, it's really hard to justify buying one of the other hybrids out there. This, as far as ways to drive around and be a little bit more green, is one of the best options out there. One of the things that makes this Kia so great is an incredible combination of technology, safety, value, and efficiency. This is now an even more green vehicle, and it still retains all the other features that made it great. So, in the end, great job, Kia.